I had always been able to read people even from a young age. It was a gift, or at least that's what everyone told me. I could look at someone and instantly sense their mood, their worries, their deepest fears. But as much as it was a gift, it was also a curse. I often found myself overwhelmed by the emotions of others, so much so that I withdrew from social situations. It was easier to be alone, to avoid the flood of feelings that came with being around people. But deep down, I longed for connection. I wanted friends, people I could share my life with, but my shyness and fear of getting too close to others held me back. Years went by and I found myself stuck in the same cycle. I'd go to work, come home, and spend my evenings alone, my only company being the books I read and the TV shows I watched. I convinced myself that it was better this way, that I was protecting myself from the pain that came with letting others in. But there was always a part of me that wanted more, that wanted to break free from the loneliness that had become my constant companion. One evening, while browsing the internet, I stumbled upon an article about manifestation. I had heard of the concept before, but I had never really paid much attention to it. But something about the article caught my eye, and I found myself reading it from start to finish. The idea that I could change my life simply by changing my thoughts intrigued me. It seemed almost too good to be true, but the more I read, the more I began to believe that it was possible. I started researching more about manifestation and stumbled upon Louise Hay's teachings. Her ideas about the power of positive thinking and affirmations resonated with me on a deep level. I bought her book, You Can Heal Your Life, and devoured it within a few days. The way she spoke about loving yourself and believing that you deserve good things in life made me realize just how much I had been holding myself back. For the first time in years, I felt a spark of hope. I started practicing affirmations every day, telling myself that I was worthy of love and friendship, that I was confident and outgoing. At first, it felt silly, like I was lying to myself. But I kept at it, determined to see if this manifestation thing really worked. Slowly but surely, I started to notice changes in myself. I began to feel more confident, more willing to put myself out there. I started small, striking up conversations with coworkers and making an effort to be more friendly and approachable. It was terrifying at first, but the more I did it, the easier it became. I also started going to local places like coffee shops and bookstores, where I could be around people without feeling overwhelmed. I would sit quietly, sipping my coffee or reading a book, but I would make an effort to smile at people, to say hello, and to engage in small talk when the opportunity presented itself. It wasn't long before I started making friends. I met a group of women at a local book club and we hit it off immediately. We started hanging out regularly, going out for drinks and having movie nights at each other's houses. For the first time in my life, I had a group of friends who I could be myself around, who accepted me for who I was. As I became more comfortable with my newfound social life, I started to realize just how valuable my ability to read people was. I could sense when someone was going through a tough time, and I found myself offering words of comfort and advice. My friends began to turn to me whenever they needed someone to talk to, and I realized that I had a knack for helping people. One day, one of my friends jokingly suggested that I should become a therapist. The idea stuck with me and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I had always been passionate about helping others, and the thought of making a career out of it was incredibly appealing. I started looking into what it would take to become a therapist, and while the idea of going back to school was daunting, I knew that it was something I wanted to do. I began manifesting the idea, telling myself that I was capable of achieving my dream, that I had the skills and the passion to succeed. And, as if by magic, things started falling into place. I found a local program that offered evening classes, which meant I could continue working during the day while pursuing my studies. The program was affordable, and I was able to get a small scholarship that covered part of the cost. Everything seemed to be aligning perfectly, and I knew that it was because I had changed my mindset, that I had started believing in myself and my abilities. The years that followed were some of the most challenging but rewarding of my life. I worked hard, balancing my job, my studies, and my social life, but I was driven by the knowledge that I was working towards something meaningful. I graduated with honors and quickly found a job at a local counseling center. My ability to read people, which had once been a source of pain, became my greatest asset. My clients often told me that they felt like I understood them on a deeper level, that I could see through their defenses and help them get to the root of their problems. My career took off and I eventually opened my own practice. I became known in the community as a compassionate and intuitive therapist, and my client base grew steadily. But more importantly, I was happy. I had a fulfilling career, a close-knit group of friends, and a deep sense of self-worth that I had never experienced before. Looking back, it's hard to believe how much my life has changed. I went from being a shy, lonely woman who was afraid to let anyone in, to someone who is confident, outgoing, and surrounded by love. And it all started with a simple shift in my mindset, with the decision to start believing in myself and the power of manifestation. I will always be grateful for that day when I stumbled upon Louise Hay's teachings. Her words opened up a whole new world for me, a world where I am in control of my destiny, where I have the power to create the life I want. And for that, I will always be thankful. I always knew I had a knack for reading people. I could sense their moods, their hidden emotions, and sometimes even what they were going to say next. It was a gift, but it was also a curse. I found it hard to connect with others because I could see through their facades, their lies, and their insecurities. It made me wary, hesitant to get too close. I was always on the outside, looking in, feeling lonely in a room full of people. I wanted friends, real friends who understood me, who accepted me for who I was. But I was too shy, too scared of rejection. I spent most of my time alone, my only company being my thoughts and my books. I longed for something more, a sense of belonging, but I didn't know how to get there. One day, while browsing online, I stumbled upon a video about manifestation. The concept was intriguing. Changing your reality through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. I found myself drawn to it, particularly the teachings of Louise Hay. Her words resonated with me on a deep level, speaking to my desire for change, for connection. She talked about self-love, about believing in your own worth, and about the power of affirmations to transform your life. I decided to give it a try. What did I have to lose? Every morning, I stood in front of the mirror and repeated affirmations. I am worthy of love and friendship. I attract kind and genuine people into my life. I am confident and open to new experiences. At first, it felt strange, almost silly. But I kept at it day after day, determined to see if it would make a difference. Slowly, I started to notice changes. I felt more confident, more open. I smiled more, and people started to respond to that.